We're rolling into week 11, and we're looking at those handcuffed running backs, those lottery ticket stashes. We're going right down the list. We're in the double-digit weeks. We're almost into the fantasy playoffs, so we got to get our insurance policies in check. This is not in ranking order, but they're kind of in ranking range because it's all dependent on starters going down with injury. So really tit for tat. It really depends on circumstance, but also with who you got as your starter, common sense wise, because you want your stud players cuffed up, and all the studs, almost all of them, have a good cuff behind them. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're going deeper than anybody else when it comes to covering the waiver wire. We're helping you set your lineups with multiple videos at the end of the week, and we're doing deep dives on all the trending players so you know more about that player when they get anointed to the starting position so you can make your decision on that player. Click that subscribe button. Stop missing out. Ric Flair's watching. You do not want to disappoint Ric Flair. Starting off with our first cuff today, Tank Bigsby, Will Shipley. I think they will be a good duo together. I think there will be a little bit of a committee, but you also saw that against the Giants, him looking explosive behind his offensive line, looking very good. They're probably going to be looking to him. He'd be the fat buster of this offense. If something happens to Saquon, I think Will Shipley can be productive on his own, but he's got his own role there too. I think Tank Bigsby would be the guy I'd be looking to pick up here. If I was looking for a Saquon cuff for right now as an insurance policy, Blake Corum is the ultimate handcuff. He is one of the few handcuffs in the National Football League that you can almost 100% project what would happen if the starter goes down. If Kyron Williams goes down, he will just turn into Kyron Williams. Might as well just call him Baby Kyron and just roll with it. Even if I don't have Kyron and I was looking for a stash at running back, this would be my prime option right now, because if Kyron goes down, I know for sure this turns into Baby Kyron. He is Baby Kyron. He's looking good with the ball in his hands. Had a few blips off and on throughout the season. So didn't Kyron, and he comes back and still gets the work. We're getting a lot of games over 4 yards per carry. We're getting a lot of moments where he's looking explosive. The tape's checking out. The numbers are looking solid. Baby Kyron right here. Kyle Money Guy. We're back in this video. We're back in this role here. We're sharing the backfield with DeAndre Swift. I think you already know what could happen. In softer matchups against the Bengals, we can roll. We have the potential to roll here. We have that potential. So if Swift goes down again, you know what the touches are going to look like. You know what that feels like. Easier to project. And now you just got to play the matchups with that and see how it looks like in-game for that script. Kyle Money Guy's for real. Tyler Allgeier's for real as well. And he's been a trendy cuff for years now. If Bijan goes down, you're going to want Tyler Allgeier. He's one of the top cuffs because he's one of the few ones that can be a standalone dire option for the flex, because there are some games here where he's randomly popping off. He's getting enough workload. He's got a 15% opportunity share. That is very high for a backup 1B running back. That is high. That means he is going to pop off on some weeks. If you maintain that workload, he's good around the red zone too. And if Bijan goes down, you're looking at a former 1,000-yard rusher that can handle a lot of workload that the team obviously likes. Brashard Smith is more of a lottery ticket than handcuff. He is a huge monitor for the back end of the season. This team always looks to make changes in the back end of the season. He's a rookie coming off a bye. We have some softer matchups. There's always just some little twist in the numbers for him that keeps you intrigued. When it was like weeks 4 through 7, it was the targets and lower snap rate. When it was after that, a little higher snap rate, Isaac Pacheco out. Not enough for you to dive in, but enough to keep you intrigued. And you see how he fits in this offense, how his role is in the passing game. Former wide receiver, has more experience at wide receiver than running back. Raw late-round prospect here that's still developing, which means he also has a lot of upside when he starts, or if he starts tapping into that. Basil Tuten. If Travis Etienne goes down, Basil Tuten will get the majority of the work after that. LaQuint Allen would get some work. LaQuint Allen's also in this video. I'm just going to mention him here. He's a solid prospect, and they were able to let Tank go because they drafted 2 solid running backs. That was your hint that they got good running backs behind Travis Etienne. That was your hint. He's got 4.3 speed. He's very explosive. He would be a fat buster. All the running backs mentioned, except for maybe Brashard Smith, who's more of a lottery ticket, I would take over him, but also a running back that has the potential to go nuclear. Caleb Johnson's more talented than Basil Tuten. He's better with the ball in his hands. He's got good vision, a higher-end prospect. Not that great with the ball not in his hands right now. Only 62 pass blocking reps at Iowa. He was the whole offense. 46 targets to the main wide receiver at Iowa, which is very low. You're looking at Jamar Chase. He'll get that in 2 games. You're looking at Caleb Johnson, though. If something happens to this backfield, Jaylen Warren going down for multiple games, not just like one there because they'll just flush it all to Gainwell, but if it's multiple games where they got to mix things up, that's when you're looking at Caleb Johnson. Big-time stash running back, more of a handcuff than a stash, but you got a lot of upside with his play. Brian Robinson's one of the top handcuffs. One of the top handcuffs. He's up there with the Allgeiers of the world. He's up there with the Corums because you know what's going to happen primarily if CMC goes down. He's going to get the touches. He's going to get the workload. He's the fat buster. His roster rate has climbed up by 10% on Sleeper. My roster rates on Sleeper through my apps are always off from one another, so I don't know what's directly true, but they are climbing a little bit week in and week out. That lets you know that the market is getting their handcuffs in order right now, that people are watching these videos maybe and doing that, but that's like the thing to do. You're about to go into playoffs or deeper in the season. Once you get out like that Thanksgiving time, the injuries at the running back position tend to ramp up a little bit more, and also if the starter's banged up, and they're good to go for the playoffs, or they're good to go to be out of the playoffs, they might sit out that game. You're in the playoffs. Now you got to go up against Brian Robinson. Get your cuffs in check. Tahj Brooks is here. He's getting a unique video. This is a running back that's going to get anointed to the RB2 role here. Is Samaje Perine's out this week, and his reports are different. He hasn't been practicing, but there was a report earlier this week that said he might be out multiple weeks. Watch Samaje Perine hardcore. Tahj Brooks is in an offense that could buoy production. If Chase Brown goes down, it will be Tahj Brooks commanding fab. He would be a fab buster. He a record setter at Texas Tech. Pretty much Chase Brown was in this light when he was a rookie. We were just waiting all season, and then bam, I think it was like week 13 that year. That's when he got his opportunity. You're watching Tahj Brooks, a little bit more coming his way down the pipeline when it comes to workload opportunities. Manny Wilson, up there with the Tyler Allgeiers, Blake Corums when it comes to stash plays. He's behind a veteran running back who's had a lot of carries on his career, a lot of mileage. You're starting to see that come up in efficiency numbers here. On top of that, running back's going to running back, and we're deep into the season. You're also about to hit those fantasy playoffs, and you got Josh Jacobs, who has been rather consistent. So imagine a lot of people with Josh Jacobs have decent records to make into the fantasy playoffs, and you probably need to have that cuffed up if you're leaning on him hardcore as one of your top running backs. And if he goes down, Manny Wilson will get the workload. He will score well randomly in some weeks. He did it twice this year, a few times last year. He'll just randomly cross the goal line, get enough touches to hit for you in fantasy. Ollie Gordon, former Doak Walker Award winner. If Devin Achane goes down, they're probably going to mess with these running backs a little bit when it comes to the touches. You're seeing Jaylen Wright get a little bit of work here and there as of lately, but he's also been working through injuries as well. Ollie Gordon's the guy to get it around the red zone. He's got good vision, pop off between the tackles, solid back, not really up there with the Tyler Allgeiers of the world, but also has some potential to get it done for you in fantasy if Achane goes down. Good cuff for Achane. You're looking at the Saints backfield here. I don't know if you really want to touch this, but it could be a money ball play if Kamara goes down. So you're really looking at this more of a money ball cuff and more if you got the space, but we've also talked about a lot of other cuffs. Devin Neal would be the first guy to look at here. Don't forget about Audric Estime. Big-time prospect out of Notre Dame, big running back, moves laterally very well. Both these guys have good prospect profiles coming out of college, very productive running backs that can hold it down for at least a short period. Devin Neal would have the most upside here, as we've seen Audric Estime not fire with the Denver Broncos and bounce around the league a little bit. But this is more if you got the spot for it because it is the Saints. Isaiah Davis. more if you got the spot for it. He's a cuff to Breece Hall, but we're looking at this Jets offense. They're having trouble just having the gusto to get these guys scoring fantasy production and keep the chains moving. You're looking at Isaiah Davis, though. We've seen him in short bits last year be productive, even sharing the backfield with Braylon Allen. He does have that in his game. He'll get work in the passing game. He does have some opportunities to deliver in this offense. Jaydon Blue, Phil Mafah. Jaydon Blue's your lottery ticket upside stash with the 4.3 speed, the ability to catch the ball in the backfield. He was in the doghouse for fumbling. He's one of those players that gets a lot of hype and never lives up to it. He had a lot of hype coming out of high school, never lived up to it out of Texas. We're getting a lot of hype coming out of the draft into training camp preseason. And so far, and maybe it will, maybe it not, maybe we don't live up to it. He is an upside player, an upside gamble. Phil Mafah is also an upside player, but he's a big physical running back prospect that's good between the tackles, and his game's good vision too. And you could definitely see him getting anointed if he plays well. Both these guys were big-time recruits out of high school. Both these guys got a lot of gusto. Phil Mafah is the back here that has not been put in the doghouse twice, that has not been sitting there waiting for his opportunity. He's been on IR. Whenever he got his opportunities in training camp, he has cashed, he has looked good, and this is a big running back that could surprise you. Sean Tucker is sharing the backfield. He's getting anointed here in this offense. He's not really a stash right now. He's rostered in a lot of leagues, but this is the week to watch. This is the week to pay attention to him because he's starting to lead this team in rushing week in and week out, 2 weeks in a row. Now we got Buffalo in a good game script. This is a player to pay attention to. If he's sitting there and you need points now, yes, if Bucky's back sooner than later, then he's just a random cuff just in case this backfield breaks again. Ray Davis, Ty Johnson. I did a whole video on this back when we were speculating on James Cook, letting you know how it would run down. Ray Davis would be the guy everybody flocks to. Everybody would blow the fab on. Ray Davis would be the candidate or the potential guy to get the touches out of the backfield. But Ty Johnson has so much gusto in his game. He's so explosive that I would not be surprised randomly in some of these games that over a long streak of games, James Cook being out, that he outscores him. He's getting work in the passing game, very nasty in space. And also, like what we saw with the Cardinals and Amari DeMarcado, that cold hand, not just the high hand, but the cold hand could shift it the other way. And I think a cold hand of Ray Davis could shift it to Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson would be cheaper off the fan. Ray Davis would be the fab buster in the scenario. Tyjae Spears. I don't know if you want to be chasing Titans. He is getting enough workload where he could accidentally score your fantasy points and hit in your flex. Maybe that's what you're looking at. You're looking at Tony Pollard, and hopefully he stays upright. But if he goes down, Tyjae Spears would be the next man up. He's a good running back, good vision, can eat up space, can get you chunks of fantasy points, but still, it's the Titans. He's not up there with the top cuffs. Ameer Abdullah is a sneaky cup here, but they also might have a committee with Goodson and maybe even Giddens trying to figure out what they got in him if something happens to Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor has been electric. He's been looking solid. He does get banked up from time to time on his crib, but that's football. Football's going to football, but if football is again, then you want to look at this backfield because this is a running back that's electric, and this is a good offense that's pushing the pace. That's in a lot of good game scripts here. Ameer Abdullah would be the guy I looked at here because he cashed with the Raiders last year. He's a steady vet. And DJ Giddens would be my upside play. He'd be my upside gamble. A good prospect profile from Kansas State that's very explosive, that's good in the passing game, that could deliver top 10 results with that upside. We just got to cash in and develop to that. However, Ameer Abdullah is the sign that we might not be right now. Huddle plays. These are deeper stashes. These are shotgun running backs. These are plays to look at in deeper leagues. Or if you want to get a little bit of gusty with it, Marshawn Lloyd here, straight to the IR. Odds are you're getting nothing out of him. But odds are you're getting nothing out of your IR spot if you're not using it either. So just throw him in there if you can make that move. Don't drop something that's significant. If it's just somebody that you can pick up that's similar to fill that spot to make this move, that's cool. You do you, but there is upside. Former third-round pick, good size, adjusted athleticism, hasn't proven anything. Good, bad, ugly. Keaton Mitchell. He is a shotgun running back. Everybody would look at Justice Hill as the fat buster if it happened down the line. Keaton Mitchell's the shotgun running back, though, that we need to look at here. He just needs a couple touches, and he's a rocket ship. That's the type of running back you're looking at. You're looking at a Jameson Williams effect. The Will Fuller effect is what we really call it. But those are for the unks, the new kids. They call it Jameson Williams. It's because he is going to blow up big randomly and have those low ball games. And that's just how it is. And until we see him with a bigger workload, we can't forecast him any different. But with that 4.3 speed, there's a whole lot of upside here. Same thing with Isaac Guerrendo. I also want to throw in Jordan James. They might get leaked in there a little bit. I think Jordan James with Brian Robinson there won't get enough touches for him for his skill set to really pop off in fantasy unless he crosses the goal line. But Isaac Guerrendo only needs like a handful. We saw it last year. That's why we were talking about Keaton Mitchell in that light, because he can do similar things that he could blast off with any given touch to help you with your fantasy team that week. Jaylen Wright, the same thing. The same thing. Just very electric, 4.3 speed, good size with that speed. Could be a home run hitter for you in the flex if you need it. Those are handcuffs, lottery tickets, HODL players that we're looking at for the deeper part of the season. Some for deeper leagues, some for cuffs, the insurance policies. Get your cuffs in order now. We're also seeing that in the numbers. A lot of people are getting their cuffs in order now as they're preparing for the fantasy football playoffs, because things get rather weird last couple games of the season. So if you're in a championship game, they sit Christian McCaffrey, they sit Bijan, they sit their back. They're just banged up a little bit but could go. They might allow them the rest that week, and you might want to have that cuff just in case or any other situation. But as we get deeper into it, things start to flip rather quickly and be a little different. Be prepared. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.